Hi, here we have a problem on parametric equations. So we have two parts in this question. The first part is eliminate the parameter from x is equal to 3t, y is equal to t square past 1. The second part is we have to sketch the graph of the curve for parameter values -1 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 3. And also we have to indicate the orientation of the curve. Okay, let's do the first part now. That is we have to eliminate the parameter from x is equal to 3t and y is equal to t square past 1. Usually, we'll have an equation in terms of the two variables x and y, which can also be called as Cartesian coordinates. Apart from x and y, we have t over here. That is, both x and y are defined in terms of t. So that t is called a parameter. Now we have to eliminate the parameter t. So that is the target of the first question. Okay, to eliminate the parameter t, I have to solve one of these two equations for t. If I solve for t in the first equation, I'll be getting the value of t in terms of x. And if I solve for t in the second equation, I'll be getting the value of t in terms of y. Okay, here I prefer the first equation because in the second equation, we have t square. If I try to solve for t, I will get square root on the other side. So we may have a little trouble because of the square root. So in the first equation, we don't have any exponent for t. We just have t. Easily we can solve for t. That's why I prefer the first equation. So let's take the first equation and solve for t. X is equal to 3t. To solve for t, I have to isolate. So I divide both sides by 3 to get the 3 which is multiplied by t. 3 will cancel out. So t is equal to x over 3. Now, what I need to do is I have to plug in t is equal to x over 3 into the second equation, that is y is equal to t square positive 1. So the second equation is y is equal to t square positive 1. So you have to replace t by x over 3. So y is equal to, so here 2 is a common exponent for the fraction x over 3. So this exponent 2 can be taken for numerator and denominator. So we get x square over 3 square positive 1. Y is equal to x square. We know the value of 3 square is 9. So x square over 9 positive 1. Or the same equation can be written as y is equal to 1 over 9 times x square positive 1. So we eliminated the parameter t and we got the equation of the curve in terms of the two variables x and y. Okay, now let's do the second part of the question. That is, we have to sketch the graph of the curve for parameter values -1 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 3. Okay, to sketch the graph of any parametric equations for the given parameter values, what we need to do is we have to plug in the values of the parameter into the original parametric equations so that we'll be getting the points in terms of Cartesian coordinates. I mean, in terms of x coordinate and y coordinate. Here, we have values for t that is from -1 to 3. So t can be equal to -1 or it has to be greater than -1. T can be equal to 3 or it has to be less than 3. So I have to write all possible values for t. So the first value for t is -1 and the second value is going to be 0. The third value is 1. The fourth value is 2 and the fifth value is 3. You can take up to 3. Okay, when t is equal to -1, what will be the x coordinate and what will be the y coordinate? So to know that, you have to substitute t is equal to -1 into the first parametric equation, that is x is equal to 3t. That is 3 times -1 will be x is equal to -3. And when you plug in t is equal to -1 into the second equation, that is -1 whole square will become 1. 1 plus 1 will be 2. So the first point is going to be -3, 2. So please understand, these are the Cartesian coordinates. That is x coordinate is -3 and y coordinate is 2. And now we have to substitute the second value of t, that is t is equal to 0 into the first parametric equation, that is 3 times 0 will be 0. X coordinate is 0. When I plug in x is equal to 0 into this one, so 0 square is 0, 0 past 1 is just 1. So the second point is going to be 0, 1. That is when t is equal to 0, we get the point 0, 1. And now we have to plug in t is equal to 1 into the first equation. 3 times 1 is 3. That is x is equal to 3. And y is equal to 1 square. That is 1. 1 plus 1 is just 2. So 3, 2. And now we have to plug in t is equal to 2. Then we get x is equal to 6. And y is equal to, so 2 square. We plug in t is equal to 2. 2 square means it's 4. 4 plus 1, 5. Okay, now we have to substitute t is equal to 3. We get x is equal to 9 because 3 times 3 is 9. If I plug in t is equal to 3 into the second equation, it's 3 square, which is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. Okay, now for 5 parameter values, I mean for 5 values of t, I got 5 points in terms of Cartesian coordinates. Now what I need to do is I have to plot all these 5 points on an xy plane and connect them by freehand curve. And also I have to indicate the direction of the curve because the question clearly says we have to indicate the orientation of the curve. Okay, now let's plot all these 5 points on a xy plane. Now we can plot the 5 points one by one on the xy plane. So the first point is going to be negative 3, 2. So x coordinate is negative 3 and y coordinate is 2. So here we have to take a filled circle because we got this point negative 3, 2 when t is equal to negative 1. Okay, from the given information, t can be equal to negative 1 or the value of t has to be greater than negative 1. Since t can be equal to negative 1, I take a filled circle at negative 3, 2. And here you may have a question. What if we have less than, just less than instead of less than or equal to negative 1, less than t, less than 3. Okay, in this case also, we will plug in a t is equal to negative 1 into the given parametric equations, and then we'll be getting the same point negative 3, 2. But when you just have less than, you have to take an empty circle at the point negative 3, 2. So if you have less than or equal to, we can take a filled circle. If you just have less than, you have to take an empty circle. So in our problem, we have negative 1 less than or equal to t. That means t can be equal to negative 1. So we have to take a filled circle at negative 3, 2. Okay, now let's plot the next point. That is 0, 1. This x coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is just 1. And the next point is going to be 3, 2. X coordinate is 3 and y coordinate is 2. And the next point is 6, 5. X coordinate is 6 and y coordinate is 5. And the last point is 9, 10. X coordinate is 9 and y coordinate is 10. And here again we have to take a filled circle because t can be equal to 3 or less than 3. When t is equal to 3, we get the point 9, 10. So t can be equal to 3. So we have to take a filled circle at the point 9, 10. Okay, now we have plotted all the 5 points on this xy plane. We just have to connect all these points by freehand curve. So we can start from negative 3, 2 and go to 0, 1. Now we have to go to 3, 2 and 6, 5. Finally, we reach 9, 10. Okay, this is the curve we are getting. So we sketch the graph of the curve. At the same time, so we have one more instruction in the question, that is we have to indicate the orientation of the curve. That is we have to mark the direction of the curve. Actually, the starting point is going to be negative 3, 2. That is that we get for the initial value of t, that is t is equal to negative 1. And then from negative 3, 2, we move to the point 0, 1. That is 0, 1 is here. This is actually negative 3, 2. We start from negative 3, 2 and we move to 0, 1. From 0, 1 to we go to the point 3, 2. From 3, 2 to the point 6, 5. From 6, 5 to we move to the point 9, 10. So I have to indicate the direction of the curve. So that's what is meant by indicate the orientation of the curve. So the graph starts at the point negative 3, 2 and it reaches 9, 10. I think everyone can understand this. Thank you.